Welcome back everybody, let's have a look at XRP then, shall we? And I just want to let you know that we're going to have to get ready for a big move, okay? That move, it could be one of two moves, but both of them can make you a significant amount of gains. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice, but we could be looking at some serious money here. So let's have a look at these squiggly lines and see if we can turn that into cash. So there's conflicting information here, but first, before we start on XRP, we have to look at Bitcoin, because whatever Bitcoin does is going to tell us what XRP is likely to do. It's not going to really move in a bear market or in a bear move, so I'm not suggesting that we've gone bearish on Bitcoin, far from it. But what I am saying, and what I have been saying for the last few days, is that we're stuck beneath this uptrend of support and resistance. It dates back over 3 years, so you can see it's been respected many times in both support and resistance. And then at the moment we're fighting to see if we can reclaim that as support. At the moment we've not managed to do that, but we are getting close, but we haven't. In actual fact, what we're also doing is we're coinciding with this blue box of resistance, which is also turned to resistance and support. You can see that we're stuck within that area. So yesterday I was saying that I'm tilting a little bit more to the bullish side. The day before I was tilting that a little bit more to the bearish side. Today I'm saying I still don't actually know, okay? But there's opportunity in not knowing. So I mean, if you look at this, we're right in the middle of a blue box, and we're also right in the middle of the upwards trend of support resistance. We're just right in the middle. It's literally 50-50, and if you're watching all these YouTubers and people tweeting and stuff saying that they know which direction it's going to go, they don't. I mean, there are other things in this, like the dollar currently looks like it wants to bounce. It looks like it's going to bottom out. It's been dropping significantly, and it looks as though it's going to sort of bounce from here. Gold is down as a result of that anticipation of the dollar reclaiming some value, and gold and Bitcoin have recently been very correlated in their moves. So if the dollar bounces, Bitcoin will suffer a little bit as a result of that, because commodities have come down. Bitcoin is trading essentially as a commodity like gold. So you've got to bear that in mind. However, without that, then we can continue with this bull market and closing above 12,000, and to be safe I'll probably say 12,050 just to get it up there, and that needs to be a candle body close, and then it'll be okay to maybe start taking long positions. You can have short stop losses quite close, because this is a decent area to go long from. But again, we're right in the middle, so that's all I've got really for that side of the chart. The MACD looks as though it wants to make a cross unless we make a move from here to the up. Otherwise we will get that cross and we will come down, and in coming down there'll be 10,500 be the first stop, and then after that I would expect us to fill the CME gap, which if you look here, 9,600 where the CME gap actually is actually the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and we will find significant bounce from there. And this is what I'm talking about. We've got trading, even if you just trade in spot, you could be looking at buying it from this level for a bounce, buying it from this level for a bounce, buying it from this level for a big green candle. So let's have a look at XRP, because that is the deal with Bitcoin, and if you transfer that knowledge over to XRP, then you can basically apply the same standards. If Bitcoin continues to trade sideways, it could give the opportunity for XRP to move on its own, as dominance is still significantly down. XRP could move with that. So given that we know that is a possibility, let's have a look at the chart on its own accord, completely separate from that of Bitcoin. So we are impending a MACD cross there, so that's bearish. We also stuck within a support and resistance box, basically a resistance box which has got support on it also. That bottom level being 28.2 cent more or less, and the top area being 30.8 cent. So breaking out of these areas and closing above, which would be basically 31 cent, closing above there on a candle body, would likely have continuation up to about 34 cent. 34 cent being the top of the Bollinger Band, and also the top area of the last biggest wick that we had here on the daily, which would be the last biggest wick on the weekly also. We need to get above there to close above there for big bold moves up to 40 and 50 cent. So let's have a look on the smaller term time frames, like on the 4 hourly for instance. What does the 4 hourly suggest? The 4 hourly still in bullish. Actually it came very close to going bearish here, but then it crossed at the last minute before the 0 point, or was it? Actually no, it did. It hit the 0 point, but now it's made a cross to the up. It doesn't look like it's got much conviction on it though, so trading it just on that 4 hourly alone, isn't really enough, but again above all major moving averages, which is a good sign. The main thing I would say is, so long as we're above the 10 exponential moving average, as well as all these other moving averages, then things are good. This cross, however, is a little bit scary, so it could signify a drop. The drop could bring us down to each one of these areas here. These moving averages is a decent temporary support, and if we break down from the 10 EMA and then the 28.2 cent support level, which has held quite well so far, then the centre of the Bollinger Band being 26.6. And this is just today. They're moving up, so each day that goes by, those supports move up, and over time they will reach into this box, and probably by then the move will have been made anyway. But as of today, the centre of the Bollinger Band being 26.5, the green 50 exponential, very important one, 23.6 or 23.7, and then the be all and end all is the 200 exponential coming in at 22 cent. So these are the areas where I would expect decent bounces, and to be honest with you, depending on the size of the dump, I would probably, if we had a wick that came down to test this, I would just buy it up anyway regardless, because the buyback pressure on this would be enormous. If we fell from the level that we are at right now all the way down to there, that would be a 26.5% drop. Is that likely? It's not likely. Is it possible? Definitely is. Definitely is possible. This is crypto. That sort of thing happens quite a lot, even with big coins like Bitcoin and XRP. If Bitcoin were to drop down from the price that we are at right now to fill that CME gap, that would be an 18.5% drop as well. That sounds impossible, but it's completely not. It's definitely plausible, and in my book, like I say, I'm 50-50, so it's 50% chance that it would happen. You could put an absolute gamble on that, just like going down to the bookies and betting on a horse. You could gamble that it could do that, and you would be. I wouldn't say anything to you. It's completely your call. I mean, it's not for me to do. For me, I like to have the edge, which is the TA here, which is telling me it's literally 50-50. You can't trade on a 50-50. You can gamble 50-50. That's, blackjack, isn't it? So, but you can't really trade that way. But if you are a gambler, I'm sure there's plenty of people calling that CME gap to be filled. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there. There's just a very short video, but like I say, it does look as though if we continue sideways, especially with Bitcoin for another couple of days, we will have that cross, and that will signify a drop down to 10,500, and it will also bring XRP down likely to at least 26.5 cent. Anyway, I hope that hasn't ruined your day. The main thing is that if you look at the weeklies, everything is bullish. The weekly is bullish. Everything about this is bullish. We're very bullish on the weekly, and that is the important thing, which means that we should continue with this bull trend for probably the best part of the year, with XRP and for Bitcoin. There's no reason for me to dispute that. Just because we drop 20% or more doesn't mean that it's broken the cycle, and the cycle is still on. The stock and flow ratio is still holding up. The 4-year cycle is still coming to fruition, and if you judge this by the consolidation trend breaking just recently with Bitcoin, this would bring us down to around about the CME gap and still being above that, and that's the important thing. We could fill that CME gap and still remain above this descending trend. As long as we don't go back within that, I wouldn't say we're going to go bearish. Breaking down beneath this trend line, I would say there would be more hurt to be had. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, join the Telegram. Thanks, have a nice day, take it easy.